So is Aries the most selfish sign? I'm sure most of us may have heard that to some degree that, oh, Aries, if there is one that's most selfish, likely that's been the sign coined as being the most selfish. I just wanted to make a video on how you can kind of better analyze, the concept of self and being selfish when it comes to astrology, and how more so than saying it's Aries being the most selfish, it's really honing in on the first house for when someone says, oh, this person is selfish, or in this case, someone wanting to say Aries is the most selfish sign. It's really, instead of saying that, honing in on the first house. The first house deals most with the self, right? This connects very well to the past previous videos with the different house placements, the different quadrants, and knowing what that really means. Because if you know the different house placements, you understand that's really what we're talking about with, where in someone's life are we really honing in on. And in this case, with the selfishness, we're dealing with the self, right? The personal ego, the bodily even appearance, and just all of that self-identity talk. That's the first house related. So when someone says, Aries is the most selfish sign, technically it's to say the first house, and whether someone has an Aries as the ascendant for that first house, right? And so they're Mars dominated. That's more so what should be the case. Or if someone has their sun in the first house, right? Certain talents, right, with the different planets. Or they have Mars in the first house, right? Again, a large imprint on the first house could look to then reflect upon someone showing themselves to be quote unquote selfish. So I just wanted to make a video on that. Also, whether someone has a very underdeveloped ego, say they don't have a lot of good imprint and aspects relating to their seventh house and the 11th house with their friendships and their relationships, long committed bonds, that those are some of the other elements too, relating to how someone can then come up to look as being selfish to how other people perceive them. That again, it's honing in on that ascendant sign. That ascendant sign it maps out everything else. So it's very important to know the ascendant of who you're talking about. And these are the type of things where with astrology, things can get miscommunicated. And then you have people that say, oh, astrology is this, that, the fourth, doesn't make sense. Because again, there's certain technicalities that need to be clarified. So I just wanted to make a video on that. If you do ever hear that, someone saying, oh, this sign is that, there's a certain level of it, sure. But it's more so talking about the house, because the house shows, where this is actually happening. You know what I mean? I have an Aries in the ninth house. You know what I mean? I'm a Leo ascendant. And so just given my kind of relevancy in this type of particular topic, I've looked at myself and I'm like, I'm not selfish. And again, it can look at more so at the imprint on the first house. I have nothing on my first house, personally speaking. You know what I mean? So just wanted to, again, hone in on that first house, knowing what that means, because that shows where, these different elements are taking place. It's not per se the sign. The sign is just the style, kind of how the energy will come across per se. And Aries is a very bold, impulsive, type of sign. And so those type of energies, it can definitely stand out, and they can, I guess, get perceived as selfish. But again, that's more so the first house. So again, just wanted to make a quick video on that. If you ever hear someone say that to our sign Aries, anyone else that's an Aries dominated person, they're more so talking about, again, the first house in relation to that self-identity. And in this case, being selfish, that's more so that than in this case, the sign of Aries.